Hi everyone, in this video we're going to look at double dot plots and double box plots. So a double box plot consists of two box plots graphed on the same number line. A double line plot is two dot plots that are drawn on the same number line. And these make it very easy and quick to compare two different sets of data. So, a new drug study was conducted by a drug company in Medical-Town. In the study, 15 people were chosen at random to take vitamin X for 2 months and then have their cholesterol levels checked. In addition, 15 different people were randomly chosen to take vitamin Y for 2 months and have their cholesterol levels checked. All 30 people had cholesterol levels between 8 and 10 before taking one of the vitamins. The drug company wanted to see which of the two vitamins had the greatest impact on lowering people's cholesterol. The double box plot is given below. Okay, our job now is to interpret it. State the medians for each vitamin. So for vitamin X, the median looks like about 7.5. For vitamin Y, the median is 5. State the lower quartile for each vitamin. For vitamin X, the lower quartile looks like about 6 4/10. For vitamin Y, the lower quartile looks like 4.5. State the upper quartile for each vitamin. Okay, so the upper quartile for vitamin X, the right edge of the box, looks like about 7 9/10. For vitamin Y, the upper quartile looks like about 5 9/10. State the minimum for each vitamin. For vitamin X, the minimum looks like about 5 1/10. For vitamin Y, the minimum looks like it's 3. State the maximum for each vitamin. For vitamin X, the maximum is 10. For vitamin Y, the maximum is 8. Overall, which vitamin seems more effective at lowering the cholesterol? So when we look at these two graphs, we can see the middle half of the data for vitamin Y is definitely lower than the middle half of the data for vitamin X. The maximum for vitamin Y is comparatively lower than the maximum for vitamin X. So I would say that vitamin Y is more effective. Okay. The dot plots of the number of hours a class of students exercise each week to the number of hours the students play video games each week is shown below. Find the median for each data set. Okay, so median, remember, is the middle value. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 data values. Half of 14 would be 7, so there's 7 below the median, 7 above the median. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my medians between 2 and 3 for exercise. So I would add 2 and 3 together and divide by 2. So I'm getting 5 divided by 2, which is 2.5 hours. For the video games, I'm just going to double check and make sure I have the same number of data values. I should, but let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So half of 14, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my medians between 8 and 9 for the video games. So I would add 8 and 9 together and divide by 2. So I'm getting 17 divided by 2, which would be 8.5 hours for video games. Compare the means for each data set. So remember, to find the mean, I have to add up my data values and divide by the number of values there were. So I'm using my calculator to help me. So I'm adding 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is 3. plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6, plus 3 plus 3, which is another 6, plus 5, plus 7 plus 7, plus 12 plus 12. So I'm getting 58, and I would divide that by the 14 data values we have. With rounding, the exercise is approximately 4 1/10 hours. Doing the same thing for the video games. Adding up all our values, 0, 6 and 6 is 12, 7, 8 and 8 is 16, 9 and 9 is 18, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, and 14. I'm getting 123 divided by 14. With rounding, that is 8 8/10 hours. So we can definitely see there's a pattern here. They're definitely spending more time on video games than they are on exercising. Find the range for each data set. For exercise, we would do 12 minus 0, which is 12 hours. For videos, we would do 14 minus 0, which is 14. Okay. The table shows the number of minutes Katie and Danielle trained for a cross-country run. Create a double dot plot of the data. Okay, so it's nice. We already have the number lines there for us. So now we have to work on plotting our points. So I'm going to use my first graph for Katie. Okay, and for a dot plot, remember I put each data value as a point. I have 65, 70, 57, 63, 66, 75, 58, 59, another 65, and 71. And then we're going to do the same thing on the second number line for Danielle. So I'm going to label that one Danielle. Okay, and looking at her data, we have 70, 68, 71, 67, 72, another 72, 70, 73, 74, and another 71. Okay, so we can see overall Danielle's more consistent in how she's exercising, and she also seems to be spending more time on it. Okay, below are the prices of snowboards at 2 competing snowboard companies. Create the double box plot of this data. So it's nice that I'm checking to see my data is already in order for me. So that's going to help me out quite a bit. So let's first look at Middleton. I'm going to start by finding my median, which remember is my second quartile. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's between 356 and 360. So I would add them together and divide by 2. So I'm getting 716 divided by 2, which is 358. Looking at the first quartile, I would look at the lower half of the data and find its median. That's 350. Looking at the third quartile, looking at the upper half of the data and finding its median is 375. The minimum is 345, and the maximum is 405. Okay, now we have to do that same idea for snowboard. So again, I'm going to start by finding the middle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values again. So for the second quartile, which is the median, I would do 386 plus 392 divided by 2. So I'm getting 778 divided by 2, which is 389. Finding the first quartile, that would be 370. Finding my third quartile is 395. My minimum was 343. And my maximum, 402. Okay, so now I'm ready to start making my graph. Okay, so I'm going to start with my data about, I'll have my title, so I'll call it snowboard costs. Let me write that neater for you. Okay, so I have snowboard costs. Okay, I'm going to start with Middleton. So their first quartile was 350, third quartile 375. I'm making my box. Median 358, so about there. Minimum 345, maximum 405. And I'm going to label that Middleton. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for Snowboard Central. So their first quartile was 370, third quartile 395. Draw my box. Median 389, 343 for the first quartile, and 402. Oh, for the minimum I meant 343, and maximum 402. And I'm going to label this Snowboard Central. I hope this video helps. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.